spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scarish Podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace, and this is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And we're going to read some of your homegrown horrors. Adam, tell us, what is a homegrown horror?
A homegrown horror is a paranormal, spiritual, spooky happening, or something coincidental, or something just fun that you want to share with us that's happened to you, a friend, a loved one, someone you don't like, and you want to steal their story. Whatever the case may be, if it's a weird story or a fun story, you can send it our way. You can email storytime@scarish.com. Actually, no. Robin, tell them where they can contact us.
You can contact us at all our social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, things like that. And you can email us at storytime@scarish.com. Also, if you go to our website, scarish.com, there is a contact us page. Fill out that form and it'll email us.
I'm going to read two, and Robin's going to read two. And we're going to go ahead and jump straight into those. Shout out to Ms. Deezy, who just subscribed. Heyo. Thank you for the goodie box. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything.
Yay, I'm glad it got there.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start with my first one of the evening, and this one's subject is Guardian Angel Story, and it starts out like this. Hi, Robin and Adam.
Hello.
Hello. First off, your show is amazing, and finally a podcast I enjoy that is not a D&D podcast. Feel the same way. I appreciate you saying our show is amazing because tonight it's kind of a mess, but hopefully the edit will come out good. Shout out to all the folks who are watching us live at twitch.tv/scarishpodcast and youtube.com/scarish. All right, my story is kind of like the radio homegrown horror from episode 8, but happier in a way. We have had 80 in between then and now, so I probably don't remember that one, but we'll see if it snaps back while I read this. So a few years ago, my great-grandpa Willie died, and we were really close. So I inherited a few of his things like his chess set, some books, and this Sony handheld battery radio. As a Christian family, we believed in the afterlife and things like guardian angels and stuff. So now that I got the backstory out of the way, I can get to the actual story. I was home alone one day in my living room, and I was reading one of my grandpa's books with the Sony radio on. About an hour into doing this, I heard the radio's AM/FM switch go off, and my rock station tuned into AM static. I turned to it and attempted to fix it by switching it back to the FM channel, but as soon as I did, it instantly switched back to the AM channels. One thing that was different about the static, it had a robotic static voice in the background.
Wow.
At first, I thought it was some talk show or a baseball game, in parentheses, two things I like to listen to, so I tuned it and turned it up to listen. The only thing that came through was this metallic voice, and then it stopped. Then it said my name 3 times and said, "It's Grandpa, Grandpa, Grandpa." I'm pretty sure if I didn't care about the radio, I would have thrown that thing so hard against the wall. It was that creepy.
That's creepy.
Nothing happened for a few days, but one day I was hiking through a local trail with this radio, in parentheses, I use it to check up on the weather, and I heard the switch go up and on it. I heard the switch go up and on, and I stopped. I could have swore that voice say my name, then run, 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 and it went completely silent. There wasn't even static noise. The environment went silent around me too. Oh shit, that's scary.
That's like when I did the topic of the staircases in the woods where everything in that area is just creepy super silent. And yeah, that silence is frightening.
So quiet that I heard my heartbeat, and then I heard footsteps. I turned around thinking it was another walker, but no one was there, and then a stick snapped really close to me, and I bolted. I turned to look what was happening behind me as I ran, and I saw a shadowy pillar standing where I just was. I ran all the way to the trailhead and collected my thoughts. So from what I know, my grandpa came to me through the radio again, telling me to run from what looked to me like a shadow figure or demon.
What?
And that was when I realized that my great-grandpa was my guardian angel. Then the radio switched on, and I heard, okay, okay, okay. And I replied that I was okay and switched it off. I haven't heard the voice from the radio since, but I'm convinced that it's my great-grandpa protecting me from the beyond. Thanks for reading my story. I haven't told anyone this before. Sorry that it's pretty long, and feel free to use it on the show. Peace, Turner R.
Nice. Thank you.
It wasn't super long. I think it was perfect length.
Long.
Actually, I think they're all perfect length because you guys write them to us, and I enjoy reading them. So that's super awesome that you have that, like a way to communicate almost. And I don't know. I understand not telling it to anyone, but I think if you trust people, you should let them in on that because it's super interesting.
It's a cool story, yeah.
Absolutely. So I don't have any device like that is like my guardian angel. In fact, we were joking around at work that we all have this superpower where when we need something to work, all of a sudden it just stops working. So it's like we can deactivate machinery. So I think it's hilarious that you have something that'll warn you when dangers abound.
The only things that my grandparents have given me are like, I don't know, my grandma gives me random costume jewelry sometimes.
That's cool.
Or like random statues and stuff. So I feel like I'm not going to have a radio that I'm going to hear voice through or things like that. I think it's, it's really cool. I think
cool.
that's really cool.
It's better than the normal haunted objects we hear about where it's like super creepy stuff. This actually seems like sweet, you know? All right. So thank you for sending that in.
So our next email here is from Jaden, and it goes, "Hi, my name's Jaden." Hello, Jaden.
What up, Jaden?
I recently started this podcast and would gladly share 2 partially related stories. It was about when I was 11 or 12, and we rented out a room in my house, a big room, for $90, and a friend of my dad's rented our room. Everything was great. I was good friends with his son, and of course the guy himself. He has sadly passed about a year back, but nonetheless, I would sit outside on my back patio during summer break all night from 10 p.m. to whenever the sun would rise, and we would just talk all night about anything and everything. Fun fact about me is I have insomnia, and I've always been one to just want to be around adults instead. Anyways, one night I was delayed to go out back with him and his current girlfriend, who rarely ever came out with us, and the guy, let's call him Guadalupe. Anyways, when I had walked out the door, he said he just saw the face of an old man in the window. Another fun fact, I live with my great-grandma whose husband died a couple of years before I was born.
Oh, shit.
Also, my family's lived in the house for some 55 odd years. Fast forward another couple hours, not a couple years. That would be.
It's not as far of a fast forward as we thought.
No,
it's more like a bloop, bloop, not a bloop, 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 bloop.
Yeah, fast forward another couple hours. We had gone up to our rooms, mine being just across the hall. About 10 minutes after reaching my room, I had just laid down to watch TV and heard some heavy-handed knock on my door. I opened my door to look out, and all the lights are off and no one's there. So I went over to his room and said, "Did you just knock on my door?" He responded with a groggy, "Nah, man, I was just about to go to bed." Of course, stunned, I said, "Okay, well, have a good night." And it's been about 2 years and I still don't know what the fuck it was. Yes, disembodied knocking. That's creepy. Silence in the darkness.
Random silence out of nowhere is creepy.
There's just so many things in the world to scare you.
I will say, as a kid, I used to do stupid shit. Ding dong ditch, where you go and knock on someone's door and then run away. And I think most of the people, at least that I did that to in the Midwest, knew it was a kid messing with them. They looked around and they just assumed it was a kid, and they'd usually yell something out into the darkness. I don't know if we ever actually scared anyone, to be honest with you. So I wonder if we're getting the emails from all the people.
You gotta do it like in the Haunting at Hill House, where
you knock literally until the moment they open the door and then nothing's there. That shit's terrifying.
Yeah, and then
that's such a good scene in that show.
And then when they go inside, the
again.
Whole house is knocking.
God, that house is knocking. Don't come a rocking. That doesn't work. Keep going.
No. If you guys haven't watched The Haunting at Hill House, go watch it on Netflix. It is so good. I cannot recommend it enough. It is such a good show.
We've binged it, not just watched it,
multiple
but binged
times.
It twice.
Yeah. It is so good. Trying to find all the ghosts in it is so fun. And when you do see them, it freaks you out.
This is true.
It's just so good.
For those of you who've only watched it once, they hid like 100 ghosts in the background of that show. Mm-hmm. And randomly, you'll just start seeing them on your second watch through. Yeah. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing because they're not obvious. But when you do catch a glimpse of them, you're like, oh my God, there's a ghost. Okay. Anyway, so continuing on. My second story is about my mother. She's passed when I was about 6 or 7 years of age, and I didn't want to go to her funeral. I hadn't bothered to get dressed, but my grandma had driven me there and had given them the mirror I wanted to give her that said, "I love you to the moon and back."
Oh, that's so sad.
That's so sad. But I swear to God, I don't believe it. I saw her walk into the funeral home.
Wow.
Yeah. That would be super creepy if you saw your mom that you knew you're going to the funeral for walk in.
Yeah.
That was the last time I'd ever seen her, though I do see cardinals almost every single day I go outside. I hadn't had an experience like Adam with the owl, but I feel like it's her watching over me as I see them everywhere above me, though they are male cardinals. That's the emote that's typed in there.
So no one could hear that you just did, Robin.
Shoulder shrug.
Shoulder
That's the
shrug with
emote.
hands out, palms flat, facing the sky. Shrug.
It is completely okay with me if you read this on the podcast. Sincerely, Jaden.
Right
Thank you
on.
so much.
We appreciate you sending that, Jaden. Sorry for your loss. That's really
Yeah.
hard thing to go through, and I think there's no difference with having like an animal messenger that makes you feel like that connection to your mom is still there. So we have so many people that have had stuff like that. I feel like I say this every week. I think it was your friend that had the moth, right? The moth
Yeah.
that came to the door. It's like, who knows what gender that moth was? We didn't check. All I know is that was definitely a messenger. So feel that way. Don't ever feel like, well, it's only a male cardinal. No, straight up, that's your mom saying hi and watching out for you. So thank you for sending that.
Thank you so much.
So I'm going to move on into my second and my last email of the show, although Robin has one to go. And this one's subject is a dream story. Robin just put her finger into the hole that I was making with my hand, symbolizing the sex. This email
What the fuck?
This email starts out, hey, Robin and Adam. Hey,
Hello.
What's up? Natalie Z here. What up, Natalie Z? I was listening to one of your Storytime episodes where someone explained a dream they had, and it reminded me of the best/saddest dream I've ever had. In parentheses, heavy stuff, but feel free to share on Z-Pod. All right, so I don't know if it's a trigger warning, but I guess this is like a teary face warning. So be strapped in. I think this is the one that we wound up getting back last from my mom when she was doing the edits. Because I asked her, like, was it good? And she's like, it's sad. So strap in, folks.
Yeah, prepare yourselves.
So, back in the day when I was a wee babe, family life was troubled. My father was abusive, so my mother, sister, and I had to run away from home and live in a shelter for a few months. After a while, I was allowed to see my dad on supervised visits with some Child Protective Service asshat watching us.
Wow.
Eventually, they let me go to his home unsupervised. Shout out to Woo Scarish, who just subscribed for the 7th month, where we would have fun working on his music and gardening. He even let me decorate some of his house. In parentheses, the only way a 9-year-old at the time knew how, with Halloween, and then in parentheses, with no spaces, happy birthday, Robin.
Aw, thank you.
Decorations of rats. That is awesome. Well, one weekend I was at my mom's house and I was supposed to see my dad that day. I hadn't heard from him, so I kept calling his house and eventually left a voicemail that ended with, I love you. Well, a couple hours passed and my mom got a call.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
no. No.
Everyone strap in. I
I
think we all know where this is going.
It's like that episode of How I Met Your Mother. I can't.
All right. She got a call. She didn't let the pain show, but she sat me down and told me that he had committed suicide and they had just found him in his garage. My voicemail stayed unheard. For years after that, I've had so many dreams of him, but woke up devastated every time when I realized those days were gone. Fast forward to college, where my life was a stressful little ball of hell. I was feeling particularly depressed one night, so I decided to go to Snooze Town early. I passed out and had a dream that I'll never forget. In my dream, I was at my desk working, and my dad walks through the door. For some reason, I wasn't really happy to see him. He said, "You know I had to do it, right?" To which I replied, "Yeah, I guess, but why?" He told me his explanation for choosing to end his life, and I understood. He told me he was sorry about everything and that it was time for him to go. He just wanted to say goodbye and that he loves me too.
Aw.
He gave me a huge hug, and as I opened the front door to escort him out, the hallway looked like it had turned into an airport terminal. We've heard airport terminals so many times in dreams like this. He walked away, and I woke up. I felt like he was finally at peace, and ever since that dream 5 years ago, I have never had another dream of him. Well, thanks for reading. Sorry if it was a bit long. Love you guys, and keep on creeping on, Natalie.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sending that in. And I think we talk about this a lot, and I think we must have talked about this a few months ago, because it's like we kind of cycle. Like every 2 months we do a show where we talk about a specific topic, and then 2 months later we get the emails from that show that pop up. But a lot of people are lucky enough to get closure from something like a dream, because you don't get that closure, especially when it comes to something like someone taking their own life, which is incredibly hard to deal with. And we have 4 emails that we're reading tonight. 2 of them involved losing your parents. So I'm just putting it out there that the Spooky Friends group and the way you guys take care of each other is the best community on the planet, because it's very rare that people feel a sense of safeness to give their own name and talk about something that they went through that was just that emotional. And I'm really, really happy that you were able to have this dream that like lets you feel like not only you could be at peace, but that your dad was at peace. Because like it is really, really hard to go through something like that. It's really hard to just go through day-to-day life. You know what I mean? Without any of these tragic complications. So it sucks, and I've dealt with it too, and it's something where you just have to find your peace with it, and I'm glad you found that. So
Yeah, and I know Natalie, I think, is a pretty active member of our community, and she posts on Facebook and stuff like that. So thank you so much for being a part of our community and sharing it with us.
yeah, and like creating that, I was gonna say aura, but that's a weird word. Just creating that air of openness that I think people that join the community, because we still get people joining the community somehow. Thank you all for joining us. That lets people know like it's a safe place. So again, awesome. Thank you for sending that in.
The final email for tonight is from Christina, and it goes, "Hey guys, I'm Christina." Hello, Christina.
Hi, Christina.
I like it. It's Christina with a K.
Ooh, exotic, are we?
I like names that end in I, like when it's Jackie, but it's not an I-E, it's just I, or, names like that are spelt a little differently. I don't know. That's a thing for me. I like it.
I like the name Adam when it's spelled with 2 D's because I love the Addams Family.
Aww.
Boo-doo-doo-doo.
The new movie's coming out.
I know, it's out actually.
Oh, it is?
Pretty sure it came out.
We should watch it.
It got good marks over there on IGN.com, which I still go to for my movie reviews. So, fun
cool.
stuff. If anyone's seen it, let us know how it is. Shout out to Charles Guerrero, who just subscribed over there on YouTube. We appreciate you, Charles
Thank
Guerrero.
you. All right.
I think he might be, I'll have to check the numbers, but I think he might be our 666th subscriber.
No,
over
he's
there
665th. I checked before I came home.
Did you? I think we got one right before we went
Are you
live.
sure?
I got to check. All right. Now I got to
Okay.
check. Robin, you read your story. I'll let you know if that.
Okay.
If Charles Guerrero is the devil, we're all about to find out.
Oh, my sweet baby Jesus. All right. So I'm Christina, and I got into your podcast just 2 weeks ago, and this was in June. So in May, that's how months work. All right. So it's
I open
now
my phone to check this, and I see a meme that's like girls when their dresses have pockets, and a bunch of fucking turkey vultures with their legs out and their wings like out to the side, like. So that's a good meme. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Anyway, thank you so much for being new to our community, and hopefully you like it. I adore it and love listening to it in the background when I draw or do work-related stuff. I wanted to share the most visceral paranormal experience I've had in my life. I've been pretty sensitive to spirits and energies since I could remember. Feel free to share. When I was 10, I was having a sleepover with my older brother at my grandparents' high-rise apartment.
Tell me there's a Ouija board and an electric box involved, because that's the funniest video on YouTube I've ever seen.
So I thought the goat, or not the goat, but the deer one was your favorite.
The deer one's really funny too. I will say that.
We'd do this sort of thing all the time. I'd sleep on the pull-out couch in my grandfather's office at night while my brother took the guest room. That's weird. Wouldn't the girl get the guest room? Wait, I don't know. That's just okay. Anyway, so
Well, it's her brother, so like siblings are dickheads sometimes.
yeah, I can see that. My grandmother tucked me in pretty late, around 12, after we'd finished watching television. The office had 2 open archways instead of doors, so there was a dressing screen that she'd put to the left of me and stopped around my knees, and it gave me some semblance of privacy. I didn't sleep very well and tossed and turned, watching the digital clock blink green. Everything was eerily quiet until I heard what sounded like bare footsteps on the hallway's tile. No.
I'm sure it's nothing. I'm sure they're just emailing to let us know about this time where nothing happened.
I'm just imagining wet footprints, like on tile, and it's just creepy sounding. And
I'm imagining that creaking. Shout out to Glitchgrim, who just subscribed
Thank you so much
for the 6th month, and it says, woo. Also, Glitchgram used their own money. Thank you,
Aw,
Glitch.
thank
we
you so
appreciate it.
much.
Jeff Bezos' money is just as good, but it means a whole lot when it's yours.
So I figured it was my grandmother coming back to check on me or get a glass of water. It was around 3 a.m. Of course it was. I went to bed at 3 a.m. exactly last night.
Last night?
I put my phone on the charger and it was 3 a.m.
It's weird because we went to bed at like 1. So what were you doing for 2 hours in the darkness?
Watching The Good Witch.
Wow.
Well, I watched the newest episode of 911, and then I watched the newest episode of The Good Doctor. So that's 2 hours, right?
Every time I turn on 911 and it's not the Reno 911 crew, I just get disappointed. That show's so friggin' good.
Oh my gosh, the new 911 episode though, I was just like, what the hell am I watching? Bucky, what are you doing? Like, Fox, what are you doing to your characters?
No one knows who you're talking to. No one watches that show.
Fox, if you're watching, fix it.
No one watches that show.
Fix it. Okay, so I snuggled deeper into my quilt and listened, hoping that the familiar noises might lull me to sleep. But then it started to sound strange. The cupboards were being opened and closed multiple times, and utensils were being rattled around like someone was looking for something. This lasted for about 5 minutes. It stopped with a loud slamming close of the oven.
Holy shit.
And I was scared at this point, shaky breathing and sweaty palms. Imagine hearing that for 5 minutes. 5 minutes doesn't sound like it's a long time, but if you're laying there and you just hear these frightening noises for like 5 minutes, that's a long time.
It's a very long time.
Waiting for my food to reheat in the microwave for 1 minute and 30 seconds is torture, let alone hearing this sound for 5 minutes.
I love that meme of it. Pennywise the clown standing at the wall, like the partition of glass, like staring, and it's like what my food sees in the microwave while I wait for it to reheat.
That's me. Okay, so the footsteps started again, this time coming towards me. I scolded myself for being such a scaredy cat and focused my eyes on the clock. The footsteps got closer and closer and were way too heavy to be my grandmother. Then there was silence. I felt a presence behind the screen. I heard nothing. In the corner of my eye, I saw a gray figure around 6 feet tall leaning around the screen to look at me. Sitting up in bed, staring at the clock. It had amber eyes that blazed in the dark, and I almost peed my pants. I swear it stood there watching me for 10 whole minutes before it walked away.
Did you see it and go, amber is the color of your energy, whoa. It probably would have left you alone because that song sucks.
It walked away out the other door and towards my grandparents' room. I waited till I couldn't hear it anymore, and I sprinted for the front door. The lights always on in the hallway comforted me as I turned the lock and dashed out, closing the door as quick as I could. I ran to my grandmother's friend's apartment. She was like family to me, and banged on the door. Her husband answered the door warily until he saw it was me and asked me what was wrong. I said that I thought someone was in the apartment, and he, being a big man with a gnarly beard, grabbed a baseball bat and tucked something into his waistband, probably a gun, and said to wait in his living room while he went and checked.
Did they say probably a gun, or did you say that?
That's just me.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not in the email, but it's just like when someone tucks something into their waistband, that's usually what it is. What is he going to tuck? A stick?
A bundle of socks, so it just looks like he's walking in there with a giant boner. No one wants to fight a dude with a baseball bat and a giant boner. I'm just saying.
Murder
Which
boner.
one are you going to get hit with? You don't know.
Anyway, I remember sitting on a couch with my grandmother's friend with the landline in my hands, ready to call the police. He came back with my sleep-deprived grandparents who scolded me for making such a fuss.
Aww.
And dragged me back to the office. Suffice to say, I didn't sleep and turned all the lights on. Thanks for listening to my story. Love you guys.
I just want to know what it was. Oh my God.
What could it have possibly been? Like, what type of creature, cryptid, being, you know?
Honestly, like, the rational side of me is like, maybe you had a nightmare. Doesn't seem like that's the case. And the fact that no one else heard the stuff that was going on in the house is just so creepy.
It's super
I have
creepy.
questions about whether or not you stayed there again later and this ever recurred, because it seems like something that was so effing creepy it couldn't have just been an isolated incident. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. This is one that's really interesting. Or maybe that neighbor dude came in there with that crotch stuffed with socks, and that demon was like, whoa, big dick energy. I'm out of here. That's just my theory. I don't know. No one knows. No one really knows. You can only speculate. So what do you think happened, Robin?
Oh my gosh. I think it could have been a number of things. And I mean, it went back to the grandparents' room. What if it's something like when one of them is sleeping, something leaves their body?
Like the Sentry from Marvel Comics, who was way too overpowered, so they got rid of him. But when he went to sleep, he became the Void. Don't know if you've ever seen this character. It's relatively new. It's basically a superhero that has unlimited power, and any good deed it does when he goes to sleep or falls unconscious, this alter ego takes over that's super evil that balances whatever good he did. So if he saves someone's life, the alter ego would go and murder someone. So He's super creepy. It's a really good character. It's just he was way too strong. So they had to get rid of him at some point. I think they just brought him back, though. For those of you who are Marvel fans, let me know. But yeah, that's kind of what it reminds me of. Like if you go to sleep and like all that pure energy and that love like slowly turns into something else, starts crawling around your friggin' house.
But it didn't seem evil because it looked at her and then just walked away, you know? It was like...
It looked at her for a while, though. Didn't she say it stared at her for a while before it walked away?
Yeah. But who knows?
Super creepy.
All I know, it was trying to look for something in the kitchen and couldn't find it. So...
They probably turned the corner and was like, yo, dog. So seriously about that warranty for your car. We've really been trying to reach you. It's one of my favorite jokes. No one else likes it but me, but I love that joke.
Okay, so thank you so much for sending that in to us.
Yeah, thank you. We enjoyed that.
So thank you, everyone, for joining us for another episode of Storytime today. It was super cool. Lots of great stories.
Lots of up and down.
Lots of feels.
Lots of funny. Lots of good. Lots of sad, which is a good thing too.
And yeah, please send in your stories. If you folks have any homegrown horrors, once again, tell us what they can send us and where.
So you can send us them homegrown horrors, which are the things that you just heard, and anything that might be like it. And you can email storytime@scarish.com. That's our email address. You can also go to our website, scarish.com, and click on Contact Us. Fill out that form, and it sends directly to us, or hit us up on any of our social medias. We had a lot of folks reach out to us on Instagram. Some folks used a hashtag that I said I wasn't going to hashtag, then accidentally hashtagged it, the swamp thing.
Swamp it all day or something.
Yeah. So we got some of those, which was really fun to get. So you can go to facebook.com/scarishpodcast. You can also go to Instagram, which is @scarishpodcast, or you can tweet at us @scarishpod on Twitter. And that's about all of our social medias. Robin, for folks who would like to donate money, how can they do that?
You folks can head on over to patreon.com/scarishpodcast. Those are monthly donations. We have a whole bunch of tiers starting at $8. And all your donations really help us keep this podcast going because life is rough. And if you want to do one-time donations, you can go over to ko-fi.com/scarishpodcast. Those are one-time donations. We are going to be upgrading studio equipment and our setup here.
It's happening. I'm so excited.
If you've watched our stream from day one, you'll notice the lighting has changed. Our mics have changed. Sound audio is a lot better. Video's so much better. A lot of stuff, we've gotten things donated, like the switchboard, from spooky friends like you. So we couldn't do this without you, and all your donations really help us keep the podcast going. So thank you.
Quick shout out to Emily. We play on Xbox, so we don't really have PlayStation 4 tags. We don't renew our subscription on there because we never play on there.
Yeah.
So switch to Xbox. That's how we can be friends on PS4. But yeah, I think that's just about everything that we have for this episode 88 of Storytime. So Robin, go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.